Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we'll meet a new lawyer, and they will share stories of when they went above and beyond legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samalin. I'm the principal of Samalin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for lawyers, law firms, and their clients. So let's applaud lawyers who care and learn from them. Today, my guest is Stephen Dale. He specializes in estate planning and disability and special needs planning from the Dale Law Firm in Pacheco, California. And he is also the trustee of the Golden State Pooled Trust. So welcome, Stephen.
Hey, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure. So, Stephen, tell us about your law firm and maybe how you came to the law and about your specialty.
We have kind of a unique practice here. We have a full service estate planning practice that 98% of our work is working with families with disabled loved ones or persons with disabilities. I actually came to this because I was a psych nurse for 17 years prior to being an attorney here and worked in a lot of the major state hospitals in California. My family actually had worked in state hospitals for three generations and had some wonderful experiences and had some bad experiences, and decided that I wanted to hang up the bedpan, so to speak, here and maybe get into another profession, and thought, well, a lawyer might be something interesting. So I went to law school basically to learn how to be a civil rights lawyer to help shut down, many of the institutions that my family had worked in for three generations here in favor of community living. And I worked for a group called the Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund here during a pretty magic period of time where they were putting the ADA together in the 504, and a lot of advocates got involved in doing this work. I will tell you, when I went to law school, I had no interest whatsoever in wills and trusts and that kind of thing. In fact, I recently shredded my grades because I don't want anybody seeing them here. But, as I was doing this work, we used to get large settlements for our clients, and they would immediately lose their public benefits, which didn't really mean anything to me as a lawyer or as an attorney. But my directing attorney had decided I was going to learn about these special needs trust things. And I got involved in it, and I actually learned an appreciation for a lot of the issues for people living in the community, a lot of the challenges, especially trying to live on public benefits here. And the other thing with it is that I think what I ended up bringing to the table is that for anybody involved in special needs trusts or that sort of thing here, it's more than just preserving public benefits here. It's really can be used as a platform to provide, advocacy for people with disabilities, ideally to make their lives better. And that's what the whole thing is all about. So, that's what attracted me to it. I ended up, oddly enough, getting an LLM in tax. So, I started working with very high net worth individuals. So our practice, as it developed, originally we used to do a lot of high net worth planning, but we had so much need for families with disabilities. Today, the Dale Law Firm, I would say 98% of our clients have a loved one with a disability, or we work with folks who are disabled to come into settlements to help them structure their funds and that kind of thing. And in fact, occasionally we'll get a client that doesn't have a disabled loved one, which just confuses the staff. So basically, we are kind of a one-trick pony in that, we do our special needs trusts. On top of that, I know, once again, this is dangerous. Here, when you say in law school, I'm never going to do this kind of law. Guess what you end up doing? Just like I said, when I said I was not going to do trust law or that kind of thing, I said I would never be the trustee for anybody here. And I was counsel for the Golden State Pooled Trust. And one day we needed to replace the trustee. And in California, lo and behold, an attorney can be the trustee. So I took over 8 years ago temporarily as the trustee of the Golden State Pooled Trust, which apparently didn't mean what I thought it was. So the other part of our practice is that I work directly with the administration of these trusts and working directly with people, which can be challenging, but it can bring a lot of joy. You know.
What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is actually watching people develop. The planning is always fun and that kind of thing, and getting and Andrew, one thing interesting about estate planning is people pay you to pour their lives out for you, and then you get to build them at the end of the day. So I mean, what's better than that? That part is terrific, but what's really good is to actually see, and I know my staff feel the same way, um, to get to see the fruits of your work, and that's the part of the administration part that we get to see and see people develop and see people's lives get better. So we kind of live vicariously through our clients.
Sure. And so this podcast is celebrates those that go above and beyond. And prior to us coming live today, you and I chatted a little bit. Do you want to share either that story or another one for everyone today?
Well, let me go through a really nice story, and it kind of illustrates a lot of what you can do with trust. Which, let's just face it, a trust is a legal document. The trust doesn't do anything. It's not the trust; it's what you do with it here. But one story that's always stood out for me, and we'll call her Mrs. B, right? So part of this, for people that are viewing this, uh, what a special needs trust is, really quick, is a special needs trust is a form of a trust where you can hold funds here without interfering with somebody's public benefits. It's actually a form of a spendthrift trust, is what it is. But for people with essential public benefits, it's become kind of the cornerstone of planning. And what a pooled trust is a pooled trust is kind of like a cross between a 401k and a special needs trust, where it can serve many, many individuals. Everybody gets their own account, but it's treated just like any other trust. But what's unique about them is that the trustee holds the funds and can spend it on the beneficiary for virtually anything that is for their benefit that will make their life better, but it's all in the hands of the trustee. So, one of my favorite cases, and we'll call her Mrs. B, is that, she came into the Golden State Pool Trust with a fairly large settlement. The court had placed the money in our trust. And our job had been to keep her qualified for Medi-Cal, because a lot of the service she was getting. Now, for those of you outside of California, that's our Medicaid program. But because we're Californians, we got to name it different, because we're Californians. That's what we do here. And so our job was to keep her qualified for Medi-Cal, but she'd been in a skilled nursing facility for many, many years. The first time I visited her here in the nursing home, my impression of her was, this is a woman who had lost interest in life, and pretty much everybody had lost interest in her. And then, unfortunately, you see that a lot in, long-term care facilities here. So, I asked her, what would she like me to do with the funds? And she looked at me for a minute, and then she rolled over and didn't say a word. And I'm just going, this woman's going to be a challenge here, because we're sitting on all this money, and she just basically wanted me to go away. So, I went and talked to the staff and found out that she'd been pretty much unresponsive for years and years and years here. And even though the staff were pretty engaged with her, there were a lot of limits on what they could do. So, so what I did is I ended up hiring, and part of special needs planning really is putting together teams. So I hired what's called the care manager. In fact, a wonderful care manager in San Francisco called Sage Elder Care. And so I had this care manager come out and do an assessment and figure out, what is it that Mrs. B could use to make her life better. And, lo and behold, the care manager, Sage Elder Care, identified that, she probably could use more physical therapy. And with a little bit of work here, she might be able to get out of bed and get more engaged in life. Sounds good to me. So, shortly after we got started, I sat down with her and said, "Well, Mrs. B, this is what we're going to do." And, I asked her again, "What would you like to do?" And she said, "I'd like to go to church." Cool, works for me here. So anyway, we worked for quite some time, getting her to the physical therapy, getting her the things that she needed here to get more involved with that. And we would get weekly reports from the care manager about her progress, which, were always wonderful here. And so we're looking at this and we're seeing that her world is expanding. So she did finally make it to church. She made it to the zoo. She went shopping and that kind of thing. And kind of the end of the story, well, not the final end of the story, but the end of that chapter of her life was she called me up one day and said, "Mr. Day, I want to have a talk with you. I'm a busy woman here, and I've got somebody who's supposed to take me out shopping, and they're not there yet. What kind of a place are you running here? Here, I'm a busy woman. Get on it." I go, "Yes, ma'am." Right, and kind of reflected. This is not the person I had first met, so
Right.
it was wonderful.
It's a different dimension, isn't it, than just crafting a document?
Well, it is. And, a lot of times I think for estate planners, especially, we live vicariously through our clients, but we don't always get to see the fruits of our labor. We
Mhm.
just get to see the problems, right? But it's really nice um, to see the actual people in the field and that kind of thing. And I think it helps guide you on, what is possible. When I first met this woman, my expectation was um, she was just going to lay in bed and rot away until, she withered away. And, in fact, she had more life in her.
That's wonderful. And the facility was also, aside from you being taken aback, I'm sure the healthcare facility she was in was also a surprise.
Oh, they were delighted, They were absolutely delighted. And I have to say, we actually got some other referrals from the whole thing. Now, I'd like to say that I would love to take credit for it. And maybe as an attorney, I will. But, the fact is, it was the team that was put together
Right.
to do that. And it wasn't just, once again, Sage Elder Care here. And I have to tell you, for anyone in the financial world or trust world or whatever, even if you don't do special needs trust, care managers are a wonderful asset to work with because they work with so many, they can help with so many things out there when you're getting to the personal part of folks here. But, it really does take a team to do it. And it's always nice to have these sort of things happen. And, we have lots of stories like that, one after another after another. And it's a real challenge for these folks living in the community here, especially when they're dependent on public benefits.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for bringing those services to the table and for letting our viewership know exactly what might be possible so that people can get in touch with you. Can you share either a contact phone number or a web address or on social media? How can they do that?
Well, a couple of places to look at here is that if you're trying to contact the Dale Law Firm, we are in beautiful Pacheco, California, which nobody's ever heard of, but it's in Northern California. But we actually, on the special needs planning, we work all over California. And you can reach us by either going to www.dalelawfirm.com or the telephone number is 925-826-5585. I will make a little plug for the Dale Law Firm. There are something like 90 hours of videos on all sorts of things there that help folks. On the Golden State Pooled Trust side, it's www.gspt.org. Here, if you want to learn more about the Pooled Trust and to reach us there, the number is 877-336-3096. But once again, um, And once again, with the GSPT website, once again, especially for those lawyers out there, we have something like 30 hours of MCLE programs on all sorts of different areas. Andrew, I will make this other plug for folks that are watching this. If you're looking for an area of law that is gratifying, it may not be the best paid, but it does, here, special needs planning or elder law planning is an excellent area to get into. And for those of us, and I know there are folks out there who are not lawyers, they do exist. Another area, a very gratifying area to get into is in trust administration, becoming a private fiduciary and that sort of thing. And care managers are so wonderful.
Got it. Stephen, I just like to thank you again, Stephen, for the time. And my guest has been Stephen Dale. He specializes, as you've heard, in estate planning and disability and special needs planning from the Dale Law Firm in Pacheco, California. And this has been the Lawyers Who Care podcast, the video show that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. My name again is Andrew Samalin, principal of Samalin Wealth, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Stephen, thank you for joining us, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.